Royal price. Tag that. Older woman. Shocked millions. The world paused to stare. When whispers became light, a royal price rose in the air, not counted in gold alone, but in years' wisdom silence. And a woman older than rumor. She walked with time beside her, not behind her. Time learned from her steps. Her face carried seasons, not apologies. Her eyes held stories that crowns never tell. They said older, as if age were a fault, as if years were cracks. Instead of architecture, she stood complete, built by storms, polished by patience. The price tag was spoken by mouths that never paid it. Shock traveled through screens, through streets, through small rooms, where millions judged from distance. They asked why, but did not listen. They asked how, but did not understand. They counted numbers instead of nights endured. Royal is not youth alone. Royal is endurance. Royal is knowing when to stay silent. And when silence itself speaks, she mastered that language. An older woman in a younger world walked into a headline and turned it into a mirror, showing fear disguised as shock. Millions gasped because she did not fit the fantasy sold to them. Smooth, untouched, obedient. She arrived real. Her value was not sudden. It was accumulated, through losses survived, through choices made alone, through dignity kept. When nobody watched, they called it a price tag. But it was a ledger of unseen sacrifices, of mornings without comfort, of nights without witnesses. Royalty recognized royalty, not by age, but by gravity, by the way rooms leaned. When she entered, the shock was never her. The shock was truth, that worth does not fade. With time, that beauty deepens. When it remembers pain, she did not explain herself. Explanations are for the uncertain. She stood, and the noise revealed itself. Older woman. They repeated the phrase as if it reduced her, yet each repetition made her larger. Millions learned nothing. Some learned everything, because stories divide, but presence teaches. A crown does not ask permission to sit on a worthy head. It simply settles. Recognizing balance, the price tag echoed, then lost meaning. Numbers dissolve, but impact remains. She shocked them by existing, by refusing to apologize, by being chosen without pleading youth. In her reflection, some saw fear, some saw hope, some saw the future, arriving earlier than expected. Royal stories often hide women behind curtains. This one stepped forward, carrying years like medals. The world watched, confused by strength that did not shout, by power that did not run. An older woman stood still, and millions moved inside. That was the cost. That was the price. Paid by those who underestimated time. Was enough for the story to change direction. An older woman stood within the crown light, unchanged by reaction, secure in self-knowledge, letting time do what it always does. Time did what noise could not. It settled. It stayed. It watched her remain. Days passed. Headlines softened. Voices found new targets. But she did not move. Stillness became her answer. An older woman does not need the world to agree. She has already negotiated with pain, and survived the terms. What shocked millions began to instruct a few. That age is not a closing door, but a widened gate through which depth enters. Without fear, she carried herself without performance, no urgency, no disguise, only the quiet confidence of someone who knows her value confused them, because it could not be copied, could not be filtered, could not be rushed. It existed only through living, through staying. Royal spaces recognize truth. Walls listen. Floors remember footsteps. They welcomed her weight, because weight means presence, and presence commands respect. An older woman has already been chosen by life, chosen to endure, chosen to adapt, chosen to rise without applause, again and again. The crown did not define her. It responded to her, as metal responds to gravity, drawn naturally to what is stable, to what lasts. Those who watched closely saw something rare. Peace without submission, strength without aggression, beauty without permission, power without noise. She did not erase youth. She honored it by proving it is not everything, that beginnings are important, but continuance is sacred and rare. The price tag dissolved, as truth often does. Numbers fade, but legacy stays. Memory favors substance. Over spectacle, an older woman leaves no room for illusion. She stands where she is, fully, asking nothing, accepting nothing false. Her life spoke, even when she did not. Each step a sentence, each pause a paragraph, written in experience, read by time. Millions moved on, but something remained. A small shift, in expectation, in fear, in hope. Some daughters saw her and felt relief. Some sons learned respect. Some mothers felt seen. Some fathers felt challenged. Change begins quietly. History adjusted its posture, slightly, but enough to make space for women who age without vanishing. She became reference without trying, a reminder that worth ripens, that patience matures, that endurance glows. An older woman does not chase relevance. Relevance follows her, because depth draws attention long after surface has disappeared. Her story closed no doors. It opened perspective, inviting the world to reconsider value, to rethink desire, to redefine royalty. Time stood beside her, not ahead, not behind, but equal, acknowledging partnership earned through survival. The shock finally ended. After the echo faded, the silence grew heavier than the noise before. People leaned closer to their own thoughts and found them unsettled. She did not chase the gaze. The gaze chased her. Rooms shifted their weight. When she breathed, as if air itself acknowledged history, age was written on her, not as damage, but as map. Every line a route survived, every pause a lesson learned. Without a teacher, those who mocked did so softly now. Fear learns quietly. When truth stands tall, they searched for flaws and found reflection. An older woman does not hurry. She arrives, time already waiting. She has seen urgency fail. She trusts patience, The story spread again, but differently. Less laughter, more hesitation. As if the tale had begun to speak back. Royalty recognized steadiness, the calm in her posture, the refusal to bend for approval. Crowns prefer balance over brightness. She carried memories, like folded cloth, carefully stored, never thrown away. Each one warmed her in colder moments. Millions tried to measure what could not be measured. Years against desire, youth against wisdom. They forgot that value is not a race. She knew loss, not as rumor, but as companion. It sat beside her during victories and defeats alike. From that place, she learned mercy toward herself, toward others, toward the loud ignorance of strangers. The price they spoke of was only shock. Shock loves surface. It never dives. It never stays long enough to learn. An older woman has already drowned and returned breathing. She does not fear depth. She trusts the dark because she survived it. Her presence challenged fantasy, the fragile dream that power must look young, must sound sweet, must bend easily, to be chosen. Instead, she stood firm, neither sharp nor soft, but grounded, like land beneath palaces, unmoved by passing storms, patient with history. Some hearts softened, watching her. Others hardened further. Truth does that. It separates listening from resisting. She did not ask. To be understood, understanding follows after acceptance, after the courage. To unlearn, time moved differently around her. Slower, more deliberate. Moments stretched, revealing details. Others rushed past. Her worth did not rise overnight. It revealed itself as light reveals shape, already present, waiting for eyes, willing to see. An older woman knows the cost of silence and the danger of speaking. She chooses wisely because she has paid both. The shock continued, but lost control. Control slips when dignity refuses to explain itself or apologize. People spoke less of numbers and more of presence, less of age and more of weight, the weight of calm authority, earned not gifted. She reminded them, without words, that love is not novelty, that commitment is not decoration, that strength is not loud. To be real, history has always feared women who age without shrinking, who do not disappear when youth leaves, who remain visible and unafraid. She remained, and in remaining, rewrote expectations, quietly, effectively, without permission. The world learned slowly, as it always does. But learning began, and that